For centuries, the Kingdom of Wakanda has lived a life of peace and prosperity, isolated from the outside world. Pollution, war, famine, enslavement, it all passed by this tiny nation as its people watched from the shadows, or perhaps watched the shadows from within the miraculously hidden light. But what if the shadows did manage to encroach on Wakanda? Long ago, a meteorite landed in the continent of Africa. It was made of a strange metal, completely foreign to the planet Earth. As the surrounding land recovered, life grew in new and strange ways, influenced by this metal. When humans settled on this enriched land, there was constant war for control of it. The plants, the animals, the fungi, it all possessed properties that none other on Earth did. According to Wakandan tradition, this fighting ended when the panther goddess Bast led a warrior to one of these anomalous plants, the heart-shaped herb. With this herb, the warrior was granted abilities that helped turn the tide of battle. He was named king over a united land, first of a long line of protectors of the Kingdom of Wakanda, the first Black Panther. Of course, news of Wakanda's natural wealth spread. Armies from both within and without the continent of Africa attempted to claim the land for themselves. The Black Panther, however, somehow managed to keep them all at bay, along with his various classes of warriors, shamans, and naturalists. Equipped with their literally otherworldly weapons and tactics, it is perhaps not all that surprising. Unbeknownst to all, however, was the cache of metal under the earth. Later historians would come up with various explanations for why Wakanda never discovered the alien metal that powered their way of life. Some would say they never had any need to dig deep enough to discover it, feeling they had all they needed at the surface. Others would say their primitive faith in their gods clouded their judgment, as they believed it was Bast that blessed the land and its wildlife. Yet others believed that they did discover it once or twice over the centuries, but believed it was too sacred to remove. Whatever the case, almost all agree that they would have been able to fend off their one successful invader if they had this metal at their disposal. Towards the end of the 19th century, a European king decided to try his hand at claiming Wakanda for himself. He had heard of the plant life that grew on Wakandan soil and was particularly interested in a species of tree whose sap could harden into a compound that rivaled steel in strength and versatility. This amazing tree was called steelwood, and the Belgian king led his army to Wakanda and attacked with all his military might to claim it for himself. But how could he defeat the Black Panther? You see, Wakanda was not the only nation with an invincible warrior. The Belgian king's scientists had been experimenting with technologies that could give ordinary humans incredible abilities. While the failure rate was too high and the side effects were too extreme to make mass production viable, the king managed to gather a force of 5 superpowered Belgians, each with powers of energy blasts, flight, and near invulnerability. After a bloody battle, the last Black Panther, king of Wakanda, breathed his last, and the heart-shaped herb was burnt to extinction. The Kingdom of Wakanda was no more, having now become a colonial territory. The people of Wakanda were forced to harvest the steelwood sap. Young and old, healthy and sick, thousands and tens of thousands were conscripted into the harvest. If their work was found lacking in any way, they were met with brutal punishments. Lashes, broken bones, amputations, even death. The Black Panther's family managed to hold on to some semblance of power though. Hand-chosen representatives accepted roles of overseers and tax collectors. Those who resisted were deposed or turned up dead. And of course, the taxes were heavy. That wasn't all though. The colonizers turned the people of Wakanda against each other by creating a hierarchy among them. They gave privileged positions to the borderlanders, giving them better education in foreign nations, of course, choice land, and weapons. The Riverlanders and Jabarilanders, many of whom tried their best to retain their traditional ways, were persecuted by the borderland elite. After the Belgian king's death, and after Captain America fought with the Allied forces against Nazi Germany, Wakanda's people steadily gained confidence as revolutionary leaders pushed for improved quality of life for the colony. Eventually, they succeeded, and Wakanda finally gained independence. The prime ministers of the newly independent Wakanda and the presidents of the later Wakandan Republic were ostensibly tasked with leading the nation closer to its former glory. The government, though, was overwhelmingly controlled by borderlanders, who made policy decisions that did not benefit the wider nation. Though the colonists officially left, the government sold property to foreigners who would continue colonization in a new form. The steelwood industry was taken over by large private corporations from around the world. Wakanda's natural resources were still being leached from the land. And then, a chance encounter with the strongest substance known to man. A Wakandan who was taking a well-needed break from his back-breaking work stumbled upon a strange silver substance poking out from the ground. For the first time, the metal with astounding properties was known to the world. They called it Vibranium. This began a mad dash to claim it. Stark Industries, Roxxon Energy Corporation, and a host of others tried to get a foothold, but the borderlanders were faster. Desperate for money, Wakandans were forced to work in dangerous, low-tech mines, even young children, because they could fit in the narrow tunnels. Often, they worked with no safety equipment, gathering the priceless metal to be sold by the borderlanders to the mega corporations. Chemists and engineers steadily learned more and more applications for vibranium. It was lightweight, yet had incredible tensile strength, which made it perfect for building vehicles. Its ability to store energy meant it revolutionized the energy industry. And of course, its ability to quickly release the stored energy gave it many uses in weaponry. While the rich in the outside world flourished though, Wakanda suffered. Civil war broke out as the Jabarilanders and Riverlanders fought against their colonially endowed oppressors. This resulted in years of genocide at the hand of the borderlanders. As their people suffered physical and sexual violence, they starved, with wealth and vibranium alike being controlled by the borderlanders. Wakanda could have been rich, should have been rich, a land of plenty for everyone who lived there. Now though, it is a bleeding and starving land. The era of the Black Panther is no more, but the question still stands. Can we do something about it?
Under the reign of King Leopold II of Belgium, the Congo Free State was run like a death camp. In this corporate colony, over 10 million Congolese people were murdered. Famine, amputation, mutilation, and forced labor. Belgian wealth was built on Congolese corpses. Even when they did leave the Congo, they did not leave it independent. They left it in chaos. The Belgians continued political suppression, economic extraction, and racial hierarchies. Chaos that left a blueprint for the 1996 genocide we see today to flourish. Are we only mad at today's inflictors of genocide? Or are we also willing to hold the original architects of violence in the Congo accountable? Because accountability and reparations aren't charity, they're unpaid bills.
Some time ago, a commenter made the connection that Wakanda could work as a reference to the riches of the Democratic Republic of Congo, a fantastical depiction of what it could have been had it not been colonized. This video is the manifestation of that planted seed. As a Jamaican living in a former British colony, I have seen more and more that many of the world's ills trace back to colonization, and this is no less true for the DRC. I urge you not to be silent about it, and to help in any way you can. Charities that directly help the DRC are in the pinned comment, and I will add more as I find them. Thanks for watching. I've been Ken Kwame, and I'll see you next time.